Today we're going to look at the Kentucky versus Kansas game, which happened on November 14th. This past week, we're going to discuss 2 key points for Kentucky, we're going to discuss 2 key points for Kansas, and what ultimately led to the results that occurred. The big battle that occurred in my eyes between Kentucky and Kansas happened on the defensive end of Kentucky, the offensive end of Kansas. I think it was a really important concept is where is the help going to come from, or is there any help going to come? So essentially the non-shooters are KJ Adams and then potentially Hunter Dickinson and then also potentially Juwan Harris. Those are the 3 at least primary players that Kansas has on the floor that Kentucky chose to help off of a lot in regular situations. So if they're going to allow this, that means they're essentially prioritizing protecting the paint. Because Kentucky is choosing to protect the paint in this situation, that essentially means that Kansas has to find other ways to get the ball into the paint without there being any help. So how do they avoid it in this situation? 1, the point guard, Juwan Harris, is over on this side, so you can't help off of the near side. 2, KJ Adams all the way on the top of the key, and you swing the ball quickly around and get it over the top to Hunter before any help is able to get there. We can see a clear contrasting example in this situation. The moment the ball gets to the inside, Hunter Dickinson literally has 4 blue jerseys surrounding him, and all 5 are staring at the ball. Like, Kentucky cannot prioritize defending the inside any more than they do right here, and it leads to a successful defensive possession. Then we can see the very next possession down the court, a similar concept in this defender right here. Who is he guarding? He's guarding Hunter Dickinson. That's the one he's worried about. He's technically matched up on 25, but they're worried about Hunter Dickinson. So he's helping super aggressively over, and they are allowing this shot, that kick out 3. They're saying, you're not going to make it enough, and so we're going to help down. So then Kansas had a couple of brilliant wrinkles that we saw to this, that they existed a lot in the second half. So the first thing is, look at the spacing right now for Kansas. They're so much more spread out. That was a clear point of emphasis. And Hunter Dickinson is the one on the ball. Okay, that is also crucial. So that means his defender has to come out. Okay, so as this screen happens, boom, 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 we see that help comes. Kentucky's helped. They're helping aggressively. So what happens? Number 23 does a simple thing. His defender helps over, so he cuts a great pass and an easy dunk. A couple possessions later, what do we see? Ball is moving around. Again, look at that. Look at the space he was giving KJ Adams right there. Does not care. So wherever KJ Adams is, that's the defender that is going to help. Okay, so what do they do? This little side ball screen, boom, get it to the inside. Where is the help coming from? Boom, boom, boom. I mean, frankly, a lot of places. But KJ Adams sees this defender is not looking at him. What does he do? He cuts into open space, boom, and another easy finish. And then the biggest thing on that note, of the area that really makes it so you can't play pack line defense, so you can't protect the paint a huge amount, is you hit the freaking 3s from the outside. Okay, so we talked about Juwan Harris over here. He doesn't like to shoot that many 3s, but in this game, he was less tentative than he normally is, and that, I think, was the difference maker for Kansas. Okay, so not only does shooting this 3 make it so you get those 3 points, it means that you also, the defense has to be aware of that shooter. And they can't just sag off of him. Again, what is it? Kentucky doesn't care. They're letting this shot go in. Right? So if they can allow that, they're going to play better defense inside the paint. As silly as this sentence sounds, Juwan Harris going 5 for 5 gave Hunter Dickinson and maybe KJ Adams, gave both of them, I would argue, about 2 points in their next 3 games. Because now defenders are going to have to be aware of it. They cannot, look how much different it was just this between the last 2 times. It's yeah, he's helping off, but he has to get there eventually, and that just gives so much more open space. So in the next couple of games, at some point Harris is going to struggle. He's going to miss a couple of 3s. That's going to happen. So what I would strongly recommend is keep shooting it anyway. You miss 3 in a row, it doesn't matter. The threat of you shooting the 3 is worth more than you actually shooting the 3 in itself. That threat right there opens up offense. Then we get to the thing that I think is the most exciting for both of these teams. So first off with Kentucky, and they happen to mirror each other. Kentucky looked to push the ball aggressively early in transition. And they didn't do this with crazy threes or anything like that. They did it with playing solid defense, getting little deflections, pushing the ball, getting to the rim, and then following it really, really, really well. Over and over and over again, we saw that Kentucky would often shoot a difficult shot, because like he's going 1-on-2 right there, but they would follow it so well you'd get fouled or you'd make the shot because they're so athletic and aggressive going to the boards. This was a stretch here in a very short amount of time where they got decent possessions and they instantly looked to attack aggressively, not settling for threes, even though shoot one there. Ideally not settling for threes, but not settling for letting Kansas get the rebound, and instead flying to the boards and finishing it again. Then mere moments later, again, that's a shot they're willing to concede. Hey, get the rebound. What do? Push the ball, outlet it up ahead, attack, even in semi-transition, get a little mismatch, attack it, get the foul. Absolutely love this out of Kentucky. And then finally, one of the areas that shifted the game late, I think, in Kansas' favor was their ability to counter with transition as well. So again, difficult shot. What do? Outlet it immediately, push the ball up, don't wait. And when you have athletes like KJ Adams, like when you have athletes that can do this, like anytime you're not letting them run, like you are missing on opportunity. Okay, again, we can see same thing as Kentucky. It starts on the defensive end. Force tough shots, get the ball, push aggressively. Trust yourself, go to the rim, get fouled, finish. There was a couple times Kansas really had some difficult scoring droughts, and this is how they got, like, they sparked a little bit of offense. And this is like, same thing as Kentucky I said earlier, but this is a tough shot. Like, this is 1-on-2 defenders at best, let alone 1-on-3. But just getting there and forcing the defenders to react to you frees up openings, and KJ Adams does the same thing, finishes or follows and finish. And then again, the very next possession. There's another concept we could talk about at some point, is how they left 3 open. They allowed him to shoot. But again, turnover. Instantly, what do? Look to push the ball ahead. Get wide, get open. So I love this concept. So as he's pushing the ball up, number 13 doesn't just run straight ahead. He gets out wide, like almost like a banana cut kind of thing. Gets out wide so he can see the ball and he can see the rim, so he can catch it and immediately start going downhill and attack a slower defender and get fouled. In conclusion, I thought this was a very good game. I thought it was well played by Kentucky and Kansas, frankly, bothly. I would be optimistic looking at this game and see their potential from here on out. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a great rest of your day.